Hello, YouTube land. How are we doing? It's been a while. It is a beautiful day up here in Minnesota. We got just a little bit of snow, couple inches of powder, and I thought, you know what? Let's get out here, do a little plowing. We'll show the folks some of the changes. So let's get to it. And here we go. Let's go down and see what we can see. Again, there's not very much snow here, but we'll scrape the top. My driveway's 300 feet long, guys, so I didn't want to be shoveling all that. And of course there will be a berm at the bottom if they plowed our street. Look at this, we got little cat tracks all the way down the driveway. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and there's the berm. We're pushing a decent amount of snow now. Not too bad. Let's take this out. I think this will be just a 2-pass day. I always shovel off a little bit that's left in the street. It's strange times here in Minnesota. You know, the eyes of the world are on us these days. I'm kind of out in the suburbs, so I don't have to deal with all of that, but it kind of adds to this sense everybody's got of like, these things aren't getting better, you know, they're getting worse. In the world in general. For me, I just, you know, I'm like, welcome to my world. It's strange because in a lot of ways, in a lot of aspects, I've been wildly successful. But my whole life, I've kind of had this feeling like things are going to fail. You know, how are we going to undo or redo or fix something when it goes wrong? For example, I built a kitchen in my basement, and it turned out really nice. But the whole time I was putting it in, I was thinking about how would I take this back out if I needed to, which is a weird kind of feeling, right? And with this plow, I always felt like every year it's like, well, I'm going to have to rebuild this thing. I'm going to have to fix it. It's going to break. It's going to fail. And it just never really has. It's never really failed. And so I just keep bracing it up and using it year after year. But when I say how you guys doing, I mean, I want to hear it. Tell me how your guys' year is going. You know, I think a lot of the reason that the first video was so popular is because people do have, like, feeling that the future's not set. And people need, like, inexpensive solutions to common problems. Because we can't depend on our jobs being there, our money being there, sometimes our wives being there. So how's your 2025 now that we're rolling into 2026? What's it look like, guys? Alright, that pretty well takes care of that. I'm going to cut for a moment while I hit the street real quick with my shovel.
Well, you guys have now just watched pretty much in real time how long it takes for me to clear my driveway of, granted, a nuisance snowfall. This was about 2 inches or less. But I'll tell you, 4, 5, 6 inches doesn't take a lot longer than that. And it sure is a lot nicer plowing inside a heated cab than it is out here snow blowing or run a 4x4 or ATV with a plow on it. So let's talk about some of the specifics about the construction of the hitch itself. So one of the hardest things to add strength to was this fold over spot. So I added these sides and a brace behind the bottom and a brace behind the top. With this format, I've been able to plow between 8 and 10 inches of wet snow. It's actually incredibly strong. Another thing I added, sometimes when the snow is wet, it packs. So I added this platform, which is the right size for a 70-pound sand tube. If I put the sand tube on there, it helps it scrape the driveway when we have wet snow. Now, I have seen so many videos of so many people who have built something like this now. And there have been some really creative and brilliant things. I even saw a guy use something like this to smooth out dirt. He had a big mound of dirt in his driveway, or not his driveway, in his backyard. And he built something like this in order to spread the dirt out, which is crazy. Basically, he just kept adding reinforcement and then adding weight and more reinforcement and more weight. And ultimately, did the job. One of the things that stuck out as being pretty brilliant was there was a guy who put 2 chains on the edges. So from here back to the safety chain location on the hitch. And they had a little bit of slack, but if this thing is going to ever fail, and where it has failed on me, is when it gets torqued by being dragged along one side of heavy snow or maybe ice. And with those chains, if this side starts getting pulled, the chains keep that side from moving too far and creating torsion and breakage in the center, which is really brilliant. If I make any change to this, it'll probably be to do something like that. Because the only time this thing is ever broken, other than this top part, has been at the arms, where I've been trying to scrape along one side or the other, and it gets that torsion motion. But that's where we're at. Like I said, I always thought I'd have to rebuild this, but adding a little bit of bracing, it just keeps going and going. So if you like the video, like the video. If you build one of these, please do drop a comment below. Or, I know it's a pain to make videos, obviously I don't do it very much. Shoot a little video and publish it and drop it in the comments. As always, thanks for watching.